one of the people who did evacuate yesterday is actor James Woods, who is in Beverly Hills. Thank you for joining
Hi.
us. Talk to us.
Oh, my
What have you
pleasure.
seen?
Well, we were literally in the exact epicenter of the fire as it started. Um, oh, that's actually a view from my porch. um,
Yep, this is a
that's the
video
house,
you
one
shot.
below us
Yep.
on fire. Yeah. We My neighbor called and he said a fellow named Robert Trinkteller was about five houses up. You have to understand the Palisades is a very almost like an old-fashioned neighborhood. Sidewalks, all the neighbors know each other. We all have each other's phone numbers, and people are very aware that we're in a fire zone. And in fact, I had said yesterday, well, day before yesterday, to my wife Sarah, I said, "Oh, that guy on the hillside hasn't cut down his grass. They got to cut down that
Mm.
brush because there's going to be a fire." And that's the person who didn't cut that brush was the person, that fire you're looking at right now. That's my pool right there. That was the
Wow.
brush below us that was not cut. And so we went out. I had a record of the call. In 17 minutes later, we were evacuated with the clothes on our back. Our garage door
Gosh.
wouldn't open because the wind was so bright it torqued the door. And we finally got out. When we got to the bottom of the hill, I said, "Oh my God, we have a neighbor who's 94 years old who has dementia." And I said, there were no cars on the driveway. And we would go over and help him get in his chair, sometime if he fell with the caregiver. But I knew he was in the hospital. And I don't know,
Mm.
God was on his side. I decided to call his son in Massachusetts and said, "Hey, Francis, just to be sure, your dad's still in the hospital, right?" He said, "No, he got home last night, and there's a new
Oh,
caregiver, and I don't have the number." And they wouldn't let us back up, so I finally got through to 911 and said, "A welfare check. You got to go check on this guy." Well, there was a miscommunication, and I called my neighbor who hadn't evacuated yet. He was on his roof fighting his fire. He'd been on my roof. He'd hosed my roof down. I said, "Go in and check on him." He went. He said, "The door's open. There's nobody here." He went in and yelled. He said, "No, nobody here." I said, "Look, just go behind the pantry. There's a little room. We can see him during the day. He likes to sit there because there's a garden." He went in and found him. He'd been left alone.
oh,
Okay. And it turned out the fire department made the new caregiver leave. And, she just does what she was told. They said, "We're coming back for him." Well, they hadn't come back for him. I'm hoping that they would have. But, there was so much chaos. It was like an inferno. Every house was on fire around us. And, he got him out, and the house burned down about an hour later. He would
oh,
have been in there alone. It was just. And then Robert called us and told us that that house had gone, and the house below that, and then the house on the other side. And then at 11:49 last night, all the smoke alarms in our house alerted our phones that our house that we had just renovated for 3 years and had just finally moved into about 3 months ago. Uh, all the smoke alarms are going off, so that's hardly hardly a good sign. So I'm not sure, but it wouldn't make any difference because the whole street's burned down. So I mean, even if you go back to your home, look, we knew what was coming, and when we were out on our driveway, I looked and the smoke was so black. It was a house across the street was on fire. The house next door was on fire, and all the black smoke was down there, and the schools are down there. And I said to Sarah, "We can't go down there because they're trying to evacuate the schools, and we'll just be in the way." And here's the thing that's so important: people have got to evacuate when they tell you to evacuate. Because if you don't evacuate and you think you're going to be out there with your little garden hose, stopping a conflagration with flames 80 feet high in 90-mile-an-hour winds, you're not going to be helping. You're just going to be stopping the firefighters who do such an amazing job. And you've got to be out of the way, man. You've just got to get out of the way and let them do their jobs. And yes, maybe your home's going to burn down, but let me tell you what's more important than your home is your 94-year-old neighbor and your fellow
mm.
across the street who's trying to help you, and all the friends and family who've been calling all day. And yes, we're safe. And yes, I think everybody on our street survived, although I can't get a hold of Robert. And I called a friend of mine who lived in Malibu, in Mandeville Canyon, and well, she had called me. Are you okay? And I said, yeah. You got to get out of there, Carol. She said, oh, well, we're miles from you. I said, but we're packed. We're ready because people who live in fire zones are ready. You got to be ready to go. And as ready as we were, everything I own is in this room. Every single thing that I own is in this room. We got a basket of laundry, glasses, pills, and and the keys to our car, and that's it.
I
So,
just can't stop also thinking about your neighbor, and if you hadn't intervened, what would have
well,
happened?
I mean, how about Robert, who in the middle, the house was on fire next door. Our deck was on fire, and the guy ran into the house and got it. I was just blessed that God said, "Hey, call his son and just be sure." And
Yeah.
his son didn't know about it because then the fire. He's, oh my God, and he's trying to get out here, and there's no flights. And then we couldn't find him because he has dementia. So they put him in a hospital somewhere. And then he called me at 2 o'clock this morning, said I found him because I said, go to St. John's. He'll probably be there. And we were able to track when Robert had texted me so that we knew. But by the way, I'm sure the paramedics were coming back for him. I'm, it wasn't like they said, oh, we're going to just leave this guy here. So I want to make that clear. It was just a matter of timing. And the poor caregiver, I'm sure, was doing exactly what she was ordered to do. It was just one of those scary things. I mean, look, you can't imagine how great the Los Angeles Fire Department and the Los Angeles Police Department and the Sheriff's Department and the DWP, these people are out there fighting, man. That's. I'm standing in my driveway. See that flame? And I'm
Yeah,
standing in
this
my
is the video
driveway
you
looking
shot.
up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the planes were going over, and it was like,
And what
and
were
it was
you
a clear blue
thinking as
sky.
you're
I mean,
out there shooting this right outside of your home? I mean, what's going through your
you
mind?
know what I was thinking? I'll
What?
tell you what I was thinking. I'm from Rhode Island, and a friend of mine was the guy who did all the remediation for the. You remember the station fire where 100 people burned to death in a nightclub fire? And this is true. There were people in the doorway who had tried to get out, and there were people who were literally 2 feet in the pile of bodies who got out and survived by being debris, and the other people next to them died. And all I remember thinking is, man, when I was a kid, our house burned down when I was 6 years old. It goes up in seconds, not hours, not yay. And let's get that picture that Uncle Tina, Aunt Tina sent us of the kid. Get out of the house, get in the car, get out of the way, and let them do their job. Your house will go up like a matchbook.
Because it
And
sounds
luckily,
like.
we were.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, know your neighbors, have a plan. I mean, thank God our neighbors, Havisa, Robert, Stephanie across the street, Francis next door. All our neighbors are all checking with each other. Are you out? Are you safe? Are your pets out? Everybody was taking care of everybody. We were on the roof of our house before the fire. We thought it wasn't going to be this bigger fire. You always worried about embers. There was a fellow up the street who's working on the house. And I said, "Hey, man, would you come on our roof and help us? I'll pay you." He goes, "You don't have to pay me, man." He was one of the workers, and he did it. And I insisted, take something. And no, it's just wanted to help, man. It's just people helping people. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
It's.
our beautiful little house, it was like we've been in a hotel all through COVID. This lovely hotel, people are so great, take care of us yesterday, and we were fixing our house, and we finally had it done, and we were swimming every day, and my blood pressure was going down, and if you ever saw the views from that house before this fire, they were just, it was. I posted it today on X. It was paradise, and our neighbors are, we knew them all, and now it's all.
Yeah, it's a reminder anything can be just taken away in an instant. So much is out of your control. And as you're there, you're taking that video and you're seeing how quickly it's all happening. You must have been wondering, how am I going to get out of here safely? I mean, I know our CNN crews dealt with the same situation.
Well, let me tell you, I was standing in the driveway, and all of a sudden I said, "Sir, the planes are going over." They dropped the retardant, but they're like, what it's like. Those planes aren't, 2,000 feet in the air. They're like 40 feet over your house, and I was looking down, the fire was the black, and you could see the flames, the house on fire, the house on fire. And then over by the hillside where Robert had showed me, he said, look, come my house, look at this fire. As soon as I saw that fire, I said, with this wind, we're out of here. We've got to get out of here and make sure everybody's safe. And I was looking and I said, that smoke is white. This smoke is black. It's moving this way. We've got to go that way because white smoke means that they got the fire out, at least, the major part of it. And we'll be out of the way of the congestion. And as soon as we got down the hill, we finally got into the sunset congestion. It's 9 miles to Beverly Hills. It takes us usually about 25 minutes. It took 2.5 hours. And you have to understand, somebody didn't charge their car, their electric car, didn't put gas in their gasoline car, and now they're on Sunset. Oh, I got to abandon my car, and now the fire trucks can't get through, and now people can't walk. When we couldn't get our garage door open because the wind was blocking, because our door goes up like this, I said, "Oh my God, we're up in the hills here, and we got to walk out." I can't walk. I'm 77 years old, man. I can't walk up these hills. It's like Mount Everest here. It's like, pretty steep. So, it's just you. I posted this on X, but Sarah was on with her 8-year-old niece last night. And she came out. I'm sorry. Just, one day you're swimming in the pool and the next day it's all gone. But she came out with her little Yeti piggy bank for us to rebuild our house.
Oh my gosh. James Woods, we all hope that you will be able to rebuild your house, maybe starting with that little Yeti piggy bank. And we're just glad that you're okay and your wife is okay.
I'm sorry.
You have your lives. Yeah, no, I mean, this is real and it's raw.
I thought I
and
would be stronger than this.
You don't need, you are, you know what? Strength is not measured by whether, you hold in crying or not. Strength is what you are doing now and helping your neighbors and shining a light on the great, amazing work of all those firefighters and emergency crews out there. You have so much strength, and we appreciate you coming on to reflect what so many others just like you are experiencing in that raw emotion right now. We wish you the best, you and your wife, as you rebuild your lives. So many people are doing that right now and trying to process what's going on. So, James, and also keep us posted on your 94-year-old neighbor and everything going there. We're going to continue to talk, and we wish you the very best.
He's okay. He's okay.
Yeah.
They found him. He's in the hospital.
He's okay. Yeah.
I just worry. If anybody knows where Robert Trinkteller is, call me. Let me know. All right.
That's an important message. And also there's this app that's really important called Watch Duty Wildfire Map, and it helps you know where the wildfires are, how many acres it's covering, and how to evacuate. So I want to put that out there too, as just a resource for people. James Wood, thank you so much, and we wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.